So, what is a spontaneous reaction and how does it relate to entropy or disorder in the universe? Well, a spontaneous reaction is a reaction that will continue on its own once the initial activation energy has been overcome. And to understand which types of reaction will be spontaneous reactions, we first need to remind ourselves of the simplified view of the universe by a chemist. It contains the system, which is the chemical reaction, and the surroundings, which is everything else around my chemical reaction. To understand how these relate to each other, we need to know a law in physics which states that a spontaneous reaction is any reaction that increases the entropy or disorder in my universe. To identify these reactions, we therefore need to consider any entropy changes in my system and also the surroundings. Let's now consider which factors might lead to an increase in disorder in the universe. The first factor we must consider is the kinetic energy of the particles in my system. That's the reactants and products. To measure the average kinetic energy of these particles, we can simply measure the temperature of my system. If the temperature at which my reaction is taking place is higher, then my particles must have higher average kinetic energy and therefore a greater state of disorder or entropy. The second factor we consider is any entropy changes that occur during my chemical reaction. To consider this, I might look at changes in the state of matter of my reactants and products, and I might also look at the number of moles of reactants and products. And the third factor is to consider changes in the kinetic energy of particles in my surroundings. Remember that the total kinetic energy of these particles can be described by thermal energy. The thermal energy in the surroundings is influenced by changes in potential energy in my system. By considering these three factors, we can then predict whether a chemical reaction will be spontaneous or non-spontaneous. And you might see this calculated in a Gibbs free energy calculation. Hopefully this video was of some help.